Tennessee Titans fans, the trade deadline has come and gone, and although we all expected the Titans to make a lot more trades than they had already made, they did nothing. They did not trade anyone. They did nothing today. The trade deadline has come and passed, and Arden Key, Chig Okonkwo, Calvin Ridley, Sebastian Joseph Day, they're all still on the Titans, and they will remain on the Titans throughout the remainder of this awful, dreadful 2025 season. I know it feels like a disappointment. I know it feels like a letdown because we all had in mind that we were going to get all of these draft picks. We're going to trade all of these guys, but it didn't happen. Let's talk about, in my opinion, why it might not have happened, because I think there's a couple of reasons why the Titans were not as active in these last couple of days with trades as we thought. Now, they did get great return for Draymond Jones with the Ravens. That was a great trade, but certainly not as active as we expected. We had a lot of guys pegged as tradable assets that didn't get traded. The first reason I think it didn't happen is because, honestly, with some of these guys, I just don't think there was much interest. I just have to be honest with you. Paul Kuharsky last night was talking about this in a conversation with me on X, where he just said, the other teams have to want these players in order for them to give up any sort of draft capital to get them. And let's be honest, Tony Pollard and Chig Okonkwo and Arden Key, these are not exactly guys that have been lighting the world on fire. It's not like, oh, man, these are difference makers. Chig Okonkwo is a young player, still on his rookie deal. I would have thought there would have been more interest there. But overall, I'm not going to blame a team for looking at these guys and being like, I don't even want to give up a sixth-rounder because, there's a reason the Titans roster is the way it is. It's because they have a bunch of guys that just aren't going to generate much interest elsewhere. So I just, you can put the lure in the water. It doesn't mean the fish are going to bite. And I think the Titans probably tried to shop these guys, but I feel like with a lot of them, there just wasn't much interest. I don't think there was much interest in making trades for these guys. But I also think, the Titans have 8 games left. They're on a bye week right now, but they have 8 games left. And although I don't think the front office cares about wins or losses, I don't think they care about the final record. I think they do care about Cam Ward getting better and playing well in the second half of the season. I think they do care about the rookies being in a position to succeed. And so I also think there's a belief that, okay, yeah, we have a lot of guys that we don't plan on bringing back next year, but we don't want to offload everybody so that our quarterback and our rookies and our young players don't have an opportunity to get better in the second half of this season. Because I know this season feels like a loss, but still you have 8 games left. And these players, Cam Ward especially, there's no substitute for in-game experience. I don't care what the win-loss record says. No drill in the offseason gives you as much experience as being in actual games, full speed in the fall and in the winter. So I think the Titans, yeah, they were wanting to trade guys, but we also don't want to trade everybody maybe so that Cam Ward, like I think with Calvin Ridley, for example, first of all, because of his contract, but also, when he gets healthy, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but they need more weapons for Cam Ward to throw to. Even though this season feels like a wash, you've got 8 opportunities left for him to get better. You want him to be in the best possible position to learn and get better. Having Calvin Ridley out there theoretically should help coming back from the bye. And so I think that comes into play, maybe with Chig Okonkwo too. Maybe even with Tony. I don't know. Kevin Zeitler, that was an option to trade him. Maybe there was no interest, but also you want to protect Cam Ward in these final 8 games. You don't want him getting hurt. So, the only other option is rookie Jackson Slater in there at right guard if you trade Kevin Zeitler. So I think there was some of that at play. If we trade everybody, then who's left for these rookies to play with? Who's left for these young guys to play with in these final 8 games? I think that was probably an issue at play too. And so now the trade deadline's come and gone. All these guys are still here. And so makes you wonder, in the case of a guy like Chig Okonkwo, for example, 8 games left. If Chig comes along and plays well, he's not like a superstar or anything, but I don't know, maybe is there a chance that if Chig Okonkwo were to play really well down the stretch in these final 8 games, because he hadn't really done much of anything up until now, maybe he's still got an opportunity to come back because he's going to be a free agent, but if he impresses and does well and establishes a connection with Ward, who knows? Maybe that's the case for a lot of these guys. maybe they get an audition to be back on this team next year. Why would they want to, right? A couple of players that are worth mentioning that did not get traded. Jeffrey Simmons, of course, the Titans had said over and over leading up to today that they had no interest in trading Jeff Simmons. They did not trade Jeff Simmons. Jeff stays a Titan. I think when you see what the Jets did today, trading Sauce Gardner, trading Quinnen Williams, trading some of their key defensive pieces, getting a lot of draft capital. They've got first and second rounders galore over these next couple of years. I know it's easy as a Titans fan to look at that and say, we should have done that. We should have done that. Well, here's the thing. I know it looks enticing now because the Jets have all these draft picks, but also like the Jets had a pretty good defense. They just don't have a quarterback, and they need some other pieces on offense. Now you don't have a defense either. So you go from, we need an offense to now we need both because you're pretty much just getting rid of everybody, right? So I don't know if that Jets situation is as Chris, I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I can't look at the Jets and be like, we need to do what they're doing. They're the Jets, bro. They are the Jets. Before you sit here and be like, why can't we be them? They're the Jets. They're the Jets, Jets. Let's let this thing play out before we just declare we need to be like the Jets. But the Titans don't trade Jeffrey Simmons. I've made it clear I wouldn't do that. Jeff's only 28 years old. I think he's got a few good years of football left in him. He doesn't show any signs of slowing down. I think he's at his peak right now. I know he's been hurt the last couple of games, but I didn't want to trade Jeff because you got too many needs anyway. Why add to the list? Speaking of not needing to add to the list, the rumors of the Titans trading T'Vondre Sweat, greatly exaggerated. There was interest from other teams, but the Titans did not trade T'Vondre Sweat. Whew. Sigh of relief. I think it's interesting to me because in the lead up to today, all of the reports were like, the Titans are kind of fed up with T'Vondre Sweat. He's lost his good favor. The ownership's not crazy about him. Then the trade deadline passes. He doesn't get traded, and now the reports are the Titans remain hopeful that T'Vondre Sweat can flourish into something, and they have high hopes for him. It's amazing how the wording changes. It goes from the Titans are put out with this guy to he doesn't get traded and the Titans really like this guy. It's just funny how that happens. But T'Vondre Sweat doesn't get traded. Good. He was just drafted in the second round last year. Why would we part ways with a kid that talented that early just because there may be a little bit of locker room issues? Hello, Jarvis Brownlee. Why did we trade him? So T'Vondre Sweat stays. Jeffrey Simmons stays. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I know it's early. Titans are on a bye. They come back next week and they play Houston, I believe. The Texans are their first game back in Nashville. CJ Stroud's been hurt. I got a feeling the Titans are going to win that game. We'll talk more about it the closer it gets, but I have a feeling the Titans are going to win that game, man. The Titans beat the Texans last year. With that crew the Titans had last year, they beat the Texans last year. Now you're going to be getting Arden Key back, Jeff Simmons, Calvin Ridley. All these guys are going to be returning to the lineup after the bye, rested up. Knowing you already got shut out by Houston earlier this season, I feel like the Titans are going to pull it upset in that game. The Texans aren't very good anyway. I feel like the Titans might win that game. But we have plenty of time to talk about that. That's next Sunday. We got time to talk about that. Either way, the trade deadline has come and gone. Titans trade Roger McCreary, trade Draymond Jones, and that's it. I will also just add this right here at the end. There is a report out there that the Patriots might have been interested in some of the Titans players, but Amy would not let them have those discussions because she doesn't want to do business with Mike Vrabel. She doesn't want to send players to Vrabel to help him because of their past. I don't know how true that report is. It could be completely false. It could be greatly exaggerated. I just want to say if it's true, grow up. If that report is even a little bit true, you need to grow up. You need to grow up. You need to grow up. This ain't high school. This ain't Degrassi. This is the NFL. We're adults here. Tighten up.